Okay guys, well, I don't know, we finished our room. We got these new cages in. This is a new stack from the old video. They're actually 8 inches deeper because we moved that stack that used to be over there, and behind that's another cage and a stack, and we finally finished the room, at least on putting the cages in. Now we gotta finish the incubators below. Never eat lunch in 10 minutes and rush to pull a clutch, especially if it's gonna be a big old Mainland. So anyway, so we got some volunteers here today because Tim told me there's too many retics now. He doesn't want to take care of that many.
Are they all here to help you lift the box?
They're all here to help me lift the box.
That's what I thought.
So this is a 5-year-old Mainland. Oh, come on guys, you're gonna have to help me. Oh, a 5-year-old Mainland. She could be a little bit older, but I don't think so. So anyway, everybody thinks Mainlands have to be so gigantic. This is actually bigger than the one that laid a couple weeks ago, isn't it?
Here, put your hand on this thing, see how huge she is.
She's a monster. She's an absolute brute. Look at the girth on that thing.
2 hands covers the whole pile of eggs.
So anyway, there's a little secret to dwarfs. Dwarfs are real. I'm not an anti-dwarf person, so don't take this video incorrectly. We have dwarfs, and if you want to breed them small, dwarfs help a lot. And here's the deal. Genetics is about 50% of the size. The other part is you. You determine the size of your animal. If you feed it like I eat, you're going to get bigger. It's just,
what do you think I'm resting the camera on?
Yeah, that's why Tim's resting his camera on his extra food. So it depends how much you feed them. Another thing that's real important is when you feed them. If you feed them a ton of food when they're babies, you're going to get a tremendous growth rate. Now this female here, don't get me wrong, if I want to get her big still, she'll get big, but she'll probably never get 25 feet if I had to guess. But they say reptiles continue growing throughout their life, but I'm sure that they grow better when they're young. So what we found is if you just feed them normal once a week, you know, back when I started, everybody said you aren't supposed to feed a snake more than once every 2 weeks, period. And I always fed once a week. Well, now people feed 2 and 3 times a week, and I used to do it all the time, and I still do it on males when I'm trying to get somewhere in a hurry. And they get big. I can get a male this big in, what, 10 months, Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10, 12 months, no problem. 10 months is pretty easy. But a female still needs its age. So what we did with these snakes is we didn't need them desperately, so we grew them up slow. We finally wasn't a big rush, and we just let nature take its course, fed it weekly. When it got a little bit older, you know, we did feed it every 2 weeks sometimes, and we fed them meals that were sensible size. We didn't, you know, didn't look like they ate the dog or ate the cow down the street or whatever. It's just something that gave them a small lump, something the size of the center. So like this would eat a jumbo rat. And I'm sure we put this on rabbits before it laid eggs. And obviously it was fatter when it laid eggs, but at the end of the day, this is the actual size of the snake without follicles. So anyway, we waited a while in order to do that. What do you guys think about this?
It's awesome.
I showed them some brand new snakes today. They were pretty. They're actually orange glows, but they're orange glow. They're actually from a line that makes the orange glow, but we didn't get the really dark one. We got dark, but we didn't get dark. Maybe we got dark, but we didn't get dark.
But
we got orange, and you guys will like it. As a matter of fact, it's funny. It shed today. It's Halloween. First thing she said was pumpkin, because it looks almost like his shirt. So they live locally, and they came down. They like to come down and look at the stuff once in a while, right?
More than once in a while.
More than once in a while. She says her boyfriend's going to be a little upset because she always shows up without him. So anyway, we're going to take this guy off. We're going to steal the eggs first, some of them, because they just don't want any of them to get tore up. Like I said, literally, this is not the smallest one by any means. Well, the last one we had lay was much smaller than this one. So if you want to keep your Mainland small, there's no problem with doing it. And now
Siavash
showed up.
Look who's here, Super Dwarf.
So it doesn't matter how much Siavash eats, he'll never be over 8 feet tall.
That's it. He's 40 years old.
You guys want to, you know where he goes? Want to go ahead and...
Come on, Megaconda, go put it away.
She's Megaconda. So there's a nice little clutch. The good part is, you don't, you know, if you're not doing this for money and you're doing it as a hobby especially, what's wrong with having a smaller clutch? Some people breed retics and don't get good eggs because they make them really fat and have issues with them, and we've done that before.
Yep.
And over the years, you know, after doing it for a lot of years, you start learning things you do and don't have to do. And these snakes didn't take a lot of space, didn't take a lot of food, took a little bit extra time because we weren't in a big hurry. Bred it, but yet we took a snake that was 5 years old. That most people say, oh, you can't have a 5-6-year-old female that is very important. And we're going to produce tiger, platinum, albino, golden childs out of them. And the other day we just hatched one out of another clutch. We hatched a phantom head albino, and you can do almost anything with them if you buy the right males. But one thing I didn't know notice is that longer eggs on the smaller, my phone always rings, longer eggs on smaller snakes seem pretty common. So you can see all of them are a little bit elongated because I think when they're in there they just kind of form to the snake a little bit different.
Exactly why.
And so we end up with longer eggs, but they're still retic eggs, but they're still not dwarf. This snake has absolutely zero dwarf. Mainland, nice big lineage, we know, because we have the mother of the mother, and we have the mother of that mother. So maybe one less than I just said. All those cages loaded?
Jeff.
You got to get that done.
I know, I
Anyway,
need keys.
that's, by the way, Jeff, you know that big guy that's
That little punk
that
that's always
works
in
for
every video.
that guy that works for
From Megaconda.
Megaconda.
Works for it.
It's true.
Why do you think her pictures get like twice as many likes as yours?
Oh. What do you got?
They know who the president is.
Oh, okay.
Hey, female CEOs are in right now. Ask me. My daughter took over this place. Anyway, so whether you know it or not, everything I just said is real. There's proof of it. Perfectly good clutch.
How many eggs?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 if I did it right.
Not bad.
So 16 absolutely perfect eggs, and from a little tiny female, not as small as the one we had a couple weeks ago, but still plenty small. And we found that if you just feed them back to the normal once a week, normal feeding, just enough to get them by, wait till breeding season, give them a little extra food. When they start to actually use it for the eggs, guess what happens? They don't get much bigger, or they don't get bigger at all. It's up to you. And they use all that energy when they finally get the food to make more eggs.
Now, what size cage do you think that snake would be good in?
Now, that snake is perfectly fine in a 3x3 all day long.
And that's a Mainland.
And that's a pure Mainland, 100%. So our super dwarfs are about that size, maybe even a little tad bigger. But you know what? We're always hunting for that big morph in the sky, and we want the odds, the egg god odds, to be with us, and so we try to get larger clutches. So we try to grow them a little bit bigger. But in real life, if we would have wanted to do that with a super dwarf one, we probably could breed it more like in 6 foot range, and we could end up like that, under 8 feet tall. And you see, like me, I'm a Mainland. I'm not. See, at least on girth. Actually, I'm Burmese python. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of updating on all that, and what did you guys?
Thank you.
You know,
This is amazing.
You know a little bit more about dwarfage.
Yeah.
So, of course, you got to remember the original dwarfs come from islands that were very poor food supply, years and years of living on them, and they just adapted to be smaller. In this case, we did we fed them what they needed, not a whole bunch of extra, and perfectly good eggs. Just took an extra year. It takes 1 extra year to 2 extra years, depending on how small you really want to keep them. And of course, if you go to breed them and you feed them a whole bunch, you may blow right by the size. If it's all about breeding, you might have to feed them too much and make them bigger than you want. But if it's not about breeding and you want it for a pet, buy your Mainland. Just don't feed it like you want it to be a 30-foot Twinkie.
Exactly.
So, okay guys, long video, but hopefully you liked it. Take care. Peace out. Happy Halloween.